Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. We welcome you to our online teaching academy Ekalaiva. Today we are going to discuss about wages under distribution analysis. Wages are a payment for the services of labor, the people those who are working for us, whether intellectual or physical, whether they are going to use their brain or physically they are going to render their service. So wage may be paid daily basis, weekly basis, fortnightly, that is 15 days once, monthly or yearly, and partly at the end of the year in the form of bonus. Now, meaning, wage is the price paid to the laborer for the services rendered, the work which the person is going to do. So for that we are going to pay some amount. So that is called the wage. So here a sum of money paid under contract by an employer. Employer means the person who offers job to a worker for the services rendered. So the employer is going to pay some amount for the worker to receive his or her service. So that is wage. This is the definition given by Benham. Next we are going to discuss about the kinds of wages. Wages are divided into 4 types. Nominal wages, which is otherwise called money wages. Next one, real wages, piece wages and time wages. So first one, what is meant by nominal wages or money wages? First, nominal wages are referred to the wages paid in terms of money. If wages are paid in the form of money, so it is called as money wages, if it is paid in terms of money. Next one, real wages. Real wages are the wages paid in terms of goods and services. So if the wages are paid in the form of certain goods or services, that is called real wages. Real wages are the purchasing power of money wages. So through the goods they can earn money. Next one, piece wages. Wages that are paid on the basis of quantum of work done. For example, if you can take a certain companies or organizations, they will fix a target. According to that, their wages will be paid on the basis of the work they are doing. Next one, time wages. Wages that are paid on the basis of the amount of time that the worker works. So based on the time, if the wages are fixed, that is called time wages. Next, theories of wages. First we are going to discuss about subsistence theory of wages. So this subsistence theory is one of the oldest theories of wages, and it was explained by Physiocrates, a group of French economists, and it was restated by Ricardo. So according to this theory, wage must be equal to the subsistence level of the laborer and his family. So by getting the wages, the person should be in a position to satisfy his family's needs. So here subsistence means the minimum amount of food, clothing and shelter. So workers and the family and their family which they required for existence. So the laborer should earn wage to satisfy his needs. So that is called subsistence theory of wages. Next, If workers are paid higher wages than the subsistence level, paid higher wages than they need, the workers would be better off and they will have large families. So, if they are getting surplus income, there may be chances the population would increase. So, when the population increases, the supply of laborer would increase and therefore wages will come down. If more number of workers are there, definitely there will be difference in the wages. On the other hand, if wages are lower than the subsistence level to meet their needs, then there would be a reduction in population, thereby supply of labor falls and wages increase. So this theory is closely associated with Malthusian theory of population. So this theory holds that the wages of workers would not be above or below the need, below the subsistence level of the laborer and his family. Now, criticisms of this theory: role of trade unions in bargaining was not found here, and it does not explain the differences in wages in different occupations. So we didn't get any information about different occupations. So here the assumption was that population would increase in rise in wage rate. It is not correct. Poor families and countries have more children and more than rich families and countries. Practically we may see some poor families, they'll be having more number of children and some rich families with less children. Next, wage rate alone does not determine birth rate. So actually, as increases, people can afford to downsize their family size. So if wages increase, there are chances to reduce their family size. Then only they can adopt luxurious life, adopting costly family planning procedures, while poor people cannot do so. Next, we are going to discuss about standard of living theory of wages, and it was developed by Torrance, and it is an improved and refined version of the subsistence theory. So according to this theory, wage is equal to the standard of living of the workers. If standard of living is high, wages will be high, and if the standard of living is low, wages will be low. So standard of living wage means the amount necessary to maintain the laborer in the standard of life to which he is accustomed. So according to this theory, the standard of living determines wages, but in actual practice, wages only determine the standard of living. So by seeing the standard of living, we couldn't find the wage, isn't it? So wages only determine the standard of living according to this theory. This is one of the criticism of this theory. Next one, wage fund theory. Wage fund theory of wages, it was propounded by Adam Smith, but the credit goes to J.S. Mill, who perfected this theory. So according to him, every employer will keep a given amount of capital for payment to the workers. It is known as wage fund. So each and every employer, he will be maintaining a certain amount with his as a capital for the payment to the workers. So that is called wage fund. It is fixed and constant. So it depends directly upon the fund and inversely with the number of laborers employed. The average wage of a worker can be calculated by using the formula average wage per worker equal to total wage fund, which the employer has a part of its capital, divided by the number of workers. So if the number of workers increases, the wage per worker would fall, and if the number of workers decreases, the wage per worker will rise. Now criticisms. This theory does not explain the difference in wages in different occupations, and it ignores It does not bother about the role of trade unions. Actually, the capitalists will take away a large sum before making payment to the wages. So these are all the criticisms of this theory. Next one, residual claimant theory of wage. This theory was propounded by American economist F.A. Walker in the year 1875 in his book Political Economy. According to this theory, it is the residual portion which is left after paying the remuneration of all the other three factors, that is land, capital and organization. Now criticism, this theory does not explain the role of trade unions. Here demand side of labor in the determination of wages needs to be considered. Next one, marginal productivity theory of wage. So the application of general theory of distribution to wage fixation. So the application of general theory of distribution to wage fixation is the marginal productivity theory of wages. So according to this theory, wages are determined by the marginal productivity of labor and equal to it at the point of equilibrium. So under perfect competition, wage is paid equal to marginal product of labor, that is wage equal to MPL. MPL means marginal product of labor. So but in real world where there is imperfect competition, there is exploitation of labor and wage is less than marginal product of labor. So this is marginal productivity theory of wage. Okay children, today we discussed about wages and different theories of wages. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you children.